Kids are stupid and easily manipulated. This is We Have Concerns. Hi, Jeff Canada.
Hi, Anthony Carboni.
Hello, concerned citizens.
Anthony, it has been a minute since we've done a Chronicles of a Badass.
Yeah, because they never work out.
Well, there's that. There's that. But I feel like we've got a candidate here. It's real strong.
Okay.
Real strong candidate. I want to introduce you to someone that was introduced to me on the Discord by Matt. Matt, a patron of ours on the Discord, posted this article.
If you want to be on that Discord, patreon.com/We Have Concerns.
Get in there. $1 a month. That's all it takes to be on there. This is an article. Actually, NPR did a whole All Things Considered bit on this, a segment on this fella. His name is Tim Friede. Tim Friede, I think, strong candidate for Chronicles of a Badass. Tim Friede lets himself be bit by snakes.
Oh.
In the name
like
of science.
Snakes that just need like a little boost like for their self-esteem. Like snakes that don't feel tough anymore.
Yeah. You know how like a puppy, you'll just put your finger in its mouth just so it can gnaw on your finger, just so it feels a little better about itself.
It's just like, and you're just like, whoa, who's a strong boy? Who's a tough guy?
That's right. That's him, but for snakes.
But for venomous snakes.
Yeah. Tim Friede has been bitten by venomous snakes. These are venomous snakes. These are not devenomed, defanged. These are not your wimpy little garden variety.
Wait. Is this the man that runs like the venom research facility and it's just like a trailer in the middle of like the desert?
It may be. He's associated with a company. We'll get to that in a second. He doesn't run anything.
Okay.
He literally, this is just all his hobby up until recently, very recently.
No.
He started in 2001.
Wait, no. Is he okay?
Well, let me tell you, we're going to step through this.
Okay.
Tim Friede.
I feel like Tim Friede's not okay, man.
I think you're going to, maybe a badass, maybe hospitalized frequently.
This is the problem, Jeff. This is the problem with Chronicles of a Badass is you always bring me somebody who's just stupid.
Well, it's a fine line, I like to think.
Yeah, you do like to think that, and you've never found the line is not very fine, is what we'll say. Maybe what it is, maybe what it is,
clear line
is that maybe what it is that the line is so thin because there's such a small population of actual badasses.
Yeah, that may be true. Well, let me tell you about Tim Friede here. He grew up in Wisconsin.
Do. Okay,
always fascinated with snakes. Used to capture little garden snakes in his backyard in Wisconsin. Always fascinated by them. Then in 2001, he decided to allow himself to be bitten by a snake just to see how it felt.
Bad, man.
Yeah.
Feels bad.
It turns out feels real bad. He only had available to him.
Buddy, the answer is bad.
Yeah.
Hurt.
It feels
hurt
like
you.
Yeah. I mean,
feels like hurt you.
Yeah.
Bud.
That's the whole point, I guess, is to hurt you. All he had around at the time in 2001 when he decided to do this was a cobra, venomous cobra.
Sure. I mean, on such short notice.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? It's probably gonna be cobra.
You're not gonna outsource this. You're not gonna figure out. It's more of an impulse.
No, I don't have a black mamba on hand.
No.
You've got to give me time to get a black mamba.
That's right. When I finally
the best I can do is a cobra.
Yeah. Also, we could all remember back to 2001 how really just it was a scarcity of snakes at that time.
Oh, bud, it was like eggs now, but for snakes. That's topical humor.
That is topical humor.
Apply it directly to the skin.
He let this venomous cobra bite him. He said it took it was a lot of anxiety building up to it. It was very difficult.
Sure. Yeah, that's your body telling you that you're doing something that's going to hurt and be bad. That's not like test anxiety, bud, where it's like, am I ready? Am I prepared? No, that's your body telling you this deadly. That's not anxiety so much as it is protection.
Yeah. There's a reason sometimes for your body. You know, I like people that can rise above, but sometimes there's a reason your body's like, no.
Yeah.
So he says it was a rocky road. He says, quote, right out of the gate, I was put in the ICU.
Sure.
After 2 cobra bites, I dropped into a coma for 4 days.
This is why this is one of those things that they bring up when they don't want to give us socialized medicine.
This guy.
This is the problem, Tim Friede, is like when they try to give me the socialized medicine that I need, some person who doesn't want people to be healed and be healthy says, well, look at all of these idiots. Here are a million case studies of idiots. And are we really going to give free medicine to the idiots?
To the guy in a coma
I believe
who got bit by a snake because he wanted to.
I believe that we should give healthcare to all idiots.
I agree.
Idiots more than most. Because they're going to get into so much, it's going to be a problem. But you can understand why when socialized healthcare comes across somebody's desk and they're looking for an excuse not to give it out. Why maybe, hey, this guy decided to have cobra bite him just to see. Just to see. And then we brought him to an ICU, probably in a helicopter. You know what I mean? This is tricky. This is a tricky one.
Was probably in some ditch in Wisconsin when somebody found him.
And also, listen, it kind of makes me a little less socialist. You know what I'm saying? When I hear things like this.
Yeah, it is sort of a radicalizing notion.
Where it's just like, wait, and then I pay for it? Wait, man, and then I pay for it? So do you think I'm sorry, this is an aside, but do you think we would be more inclined as a country to give out socialized healthcare if we also didn't know as a country how stupid we are? We are one of the more exhibitionist countries because we are so individualist that we have more stupid people, I think, doing stupid things per capita than anybody except maybe England.
Yeah, that may be, it may be that TikTok really undermined the whole movement there. Just like seeing how many people are just like, hey, I'm going to stick this firework in my butt. Yay, America.
Now, what's your TikTok algorithm like?
I think you just heard.
How did you get there? I've never. Okay. So Tim's in the ICU.
Tim's in the ICU after his first 2. That did not stop him.
He says, please, that's just the first 2, baby.
Any mere mortal would be dissuaded by that experience.
He woke up and they're like, do you know where you are? He's like, yeah, not getting bitten by snakes. One more time. One more time. One more time.
He woke up and he said, where's Bitey? My snake. Has anybody seen Bitey?
We're wasting precious time where I could be doing something stupid. Is there a way, he immediately asked the attending physician, is there a way that I could bring a box of snakes here to the ICU?
Right. Just cut out the middleman.
Each time I wake up, bit by another snake.
Because, the real expensive part's the helicopter ride.
That's the part. That's the part that's costing the American taxpayer. Once I'm here, I'm family.
That's right.
That's what they say in the ICU. It's just once you're here, you're family.
There's the bottomless. They have the bottomless
morphine. That's why most people try to go. Yeah, because of the bottomless morphine.
Anyway, so 200 more times after that, or I guess 198 more times after that,
he did a nice round 200.
That's what he said. He's said 200 times. Black mambas, taipans, cobras, kraits. These are snakes I've never even heard of. Probably a mispronouncing.
That's just the box. He was just saying I've been bitten by crates of snakes.
Crates of snakes. Yeah.
Yeah. He was. That's not a type of snake. That's a unit for holding snakes.
That's when you've done it too many times when you're just talking about them by the container that you bought them in.
That's right. I went to the container store. I bought one of the large plastic tubs, filled it with black mambas.
Yeah. I don't even want to know what kind of snake it is. Just throw them in the crate. Whatever's in there, I'll let bite me.
What I like to do is throw a bunch of them in the crate, shake up the crate.
Yeah.
That way, when you open it up, they're ready to go.
They're really primed for biting.
You know, like one of those big salads that people get when they work in an office, where they're talking to you on a Zoom call and they're just shaking that salad.
Yeah.
They're just like, hey, you can mute yourself while you shake that salad. It's like that, but full of snakes.
Full of snakes. Yeah, it's like then when you open the lid, they just leap and are biting as they're leaping.
That's right. Yeah. And that's how you know when you got a good snake and when you got a dud.
Yeah. That's what I want to know.
Round
is 200 times 200 individual moments of his life? Or is it like, I'm going to double this up, triple this up a little bit, you know?
Well, the first time he got bit twice.
Yeah, right.
So we already know that he'll take multiple bites in a sitting.
Well, I think it's hard to just stop. Once they start biting, maybe it's hard to stop them from, you know?
Sure. And when you're passing out, like it's hard to keep track.
That's true.
That's the other thing when you're passing out from the snake venom coursing through your veins, like one of them may bite you one or two more times without you knowing, and that may throw off your plan for the day.
That's right. That's right. You're like 1, 2, was 3.
No more than biting. No more than 4. No more than 4 today, bud.
This guy just needs a friend. He needs a friend that can say, maybe not today, Tim.
Yeah. Where are the people? Okay, so he's gotten bit 200 times.
Yeah.
For what? For why?
Well, that's the question. The way this is written. Here.
What? He doesn't have an answer?
Well, I'm gonna let you maybe weigh in on this, because the headline of this article on NPR is, he let snakes bite him 200 times to create a better snake bite antivenom. But
that sounds cool.
That sounds cool. That sounds purposeful. But
it sounds like not the smartest way to do it. Sounds like there probably is a better way to research the antivenom. Sounds like somebody who's maybe a gentleman scientist.
Right.
A citizen scientist and maybe not an actual researcher.
Right. But he's doing the hard work, that maybe we need. But when you dig into the article here, and listen, I'm not going to cast aspersions on Tim Friede. He seems like...
We don't yuck anybody's yum here.
Yeah, no, especially the snakes.
No.
Tim is literally their yum. It says in the article that he hooked up with this fella, Jacob Glanville, who is the CEO of a biotech company called Centivax. But he only hooked up with this dude like very recently.
Yeah. And
Centivax had been working on flu vaccines and treatments. They haven't been focused on the whole antivenom situation until recently. But Jacob Glanville said, hey, you know what would be great? Let's try to find a universal antivenom, because tens of thousands of people worldwide are killed by snake bites every year. Hundreds of thousands more are paralyzed or injured in some permanent fashion by snake bites. It's not a small problem. In obviously the United States, probably a smaller portion of that number, but worldwide, it's a very big problem.
So is this a story of a savvy capitalist hooking up with a dumb guy?
I mean, you could frame it that way. That's what it seems like, because Jacob Glanville is looking for some way to get at this universal antivenom, and he hears about
universal antivenom. Sounds like something that they're searching for in a Marvel movie.
I know, it sounds really cool.
Universal antivenom sounds like something that gets stolen from some lab in a Marvel movie.
Yes. Or James Bond needs to, get it.
Yeah. You have 14 hours, 007.
That's right.
To find the universal antivenom where it will, this poison will kill you and half of the United Kingdom.
That's right. Yeah.
Do it for the Queen.
Super cool. I can understand why Jacob Glanville's all about this. Anyway, he finds Tim. It doesn't explain how they find each other, but he finds Tim, and he's like,
Hinge.
He calls Tim up, and he's like, you're the guy I've been looking for. And Tim is like, sweet. Finally,
Tim's like, great, get over here now. Because if somebody doesn't get here in the next 5 minutes, I'm going to die.
I just got a new crate.
I need a ride to the hospital.
A new crate just arrived.
Yeah, they won't send the helicopter anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. The helicopter guy actively despises me.
But I can't blame him. Jim's a great guy. He's a family man. I love him.
Yes. Yeah.
I love him. And, I know it frustrates him to pick me up, but, he's always got a wink and a smile for me and a don't worry, idiot snake boy. We're not going to let you die today.
He should be dumping flame retardant on fires right now, but he's picking me up.
That's right. So, okay, they find each other through some sort of means.
He says, if anybody has broken through the problem of getting the immune system to focus, it's this guy, by repeated stimulation with all these snakes.
Sure.
So Glanville is like, hey, Friede, I need your blood. Friede's like, sweet. I love pointy things stick in my arm. Let's do it. Pulls his blood.
Yeah.
Scanned it for its immune memory. So he finds he finds an antibody, because this guy has sort of, he's like the Dread Pirate Roberts.
Yeah.
He's built up an immunity to iocane powder.
Yeah.
Over years of repeated snake biting.
To what end?
Well, this is the end.
To what end?
This is the end.
I guess this is the end, but he didn't have an end in mind.
Well, that's what I'm not clear about, is that he's just doing this and hoping that he'll be Superman. I don't know.
What is he doing? What if his plan was to become immune to snakes and then release 1 million snakes into the casino of the guy who's dating his ex-wife? And then he and his buddies, who are all also immune to snakes, rob the casino.
That's brilliant. And the guy who is sleeping with his wife is like, I got to get these motherfucking snakes out of this motherfucking casino.
That's right.
That's good. That's really good.
I can't think of any reason this guy is doing this.
Well, I think in retrospect, he did it for this. Like maybe this is just serendipity.
No, but shut up. Shut up. Stop it. You can't, there's no reverse causality here. Why did he do it? Why was he doing it?
I mean, I think he's just a freak like that.
Where was he working where he had access to cobras? What was happening in his life where he was like, let me grab a couple cobras?
I mean,
was he just a dude with snakes?
I think he got himself some snakes because he was super into it.
So he's just a dude that has snakes.
Yeah, let them bite him.
Yo, why wasn't this guy checked into anywhere? What is the mental health care like in this country? He goes to the ICU 100 times for snake bites. And
it says in this article.
Can we have you just see a counselor? Do you need to talk to anyone?
Here's the where it doesn't add up for me, because they're painting this dude. It says Friede's motivation evolved to see if he could develop immunity to this swirl of toxins.
No,
so his body,
from what?
His body might provide a roadmap, making a broad kind of antivenom. So the motivation evolved is doing so much heavy lifting in that sentence.
Dude, evolved is such a pivotal word right there. And here's the thing: evolved isn't even doing all the work that it should be doing, because evolved is a verb that requires 2 states.
Yes. Yeah, we got the second state pretty clear.
Yeah,
it's that first state that's a mystery.
Evolved from what to this grandiose endeavor? It sounds like man called stupid man.
Well,
and stupid man said, "Oh, wow, me, I'm useful."
Here's a little insight.
Use.
Yeah. Here's a little insight into Tim Friede's psyche that I wasn't going to share with you, but now you've put me into a corner.
You have to share it. You have to.
Tim,
you have to present all the facts, Jeff.
Tim says that snakes may be dangerous, but he's often found them easier to understand than people. The relationship is clear. Quote, they want to kill me.
Situation. We've got a bear man situation.
They want to kill me.
This is a Werner Herzog movie.
I want to survive. That's what he says.
Yeah.
He says that I've never had a relationship that was so easy to understand. They want to kill me. I want to survive. Yeah, it's a bear man situation.
It's a bear man situation. Okay. So this is just a guy who is fixated on snakes.
Yeah. But it has a happy ending because unlike Bearman,
you were going to withhold that from me.
Well, I didn't want to cloud your judgment of him too early.
Not just from me, but you were going to withhold that from the concerned citizens?
It's not that I wasn't ever going to get to it. I just didn't.
Just to put numbers on the board for Chronicles of a Badass?
It's an important segment for me.
Just to put numbers on the board? Jeff, I didn't force you to pick this guy.
I know. I like him.
You chose this guy voluntarily.
Look at all the good he's potentially going to do. Because they found an anti-venom in his blood, an antibody in his blood that's going to help them make this anti-venom. And then they paired that with an anti-venom molecule that they had already isolated that had sort of been working a little bit. And then they went back to his blood and found a second antibody. And they've made what they have done, what Glanville and Centavax have done, is they've created this cocktail that now, at least in mice, has a broad application. It evidently can prevent venom. I don't know. What do you want to call it?
What's the percentage? It's percentage?
16 species.
Dude,
protection,
that's not much.
Sorry, complete protection against 13 species, partial protection against 6 more. This is a set of genetically diverse venomous snakes from Asia, Africa, Australia, North America, and more.
How many species of venomous snakes are there, though?
Well, here's the problem. They haven't gotten any vipers in there yet. And vipers
Dude,
are
there's
about
so many vipers.
Vipers are about half the deadly bites. But
yeah,
this is huge. And this is actually huge. So the other half of deadly bites, at least in mice, are you can have near complete protection against. That's big.
There's 600 venomous species worldwide.
Well, we've got 13 down.
600 venomous species worldwide.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that all 600 are equally as likely to bite a human, right? It doesn't mean that.
That's fair. But if you're going to make the universal one,
right,
you'd want all 600, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Do you think Tim feels bad that he didn't let more snakes bite him? Like a more diverse number of snakes bite him because they have only gotten to 16 or whatever?
Here's the craziest part about this whole story that I love so much is that now that Friede and Glanville have hooked up and Glanville's like actually getting some good results from Tim's blood, he doesn't want Tim to get bit by any more snakes because he doesn't want him to die because he's valuable now.
Right.
So like the thing that made him valuable is the thing he can no longer do because he's too valuable now.
Buddy.
So
ain't that just the way? That just the way? You get to a certain point in your career and they want you to sit behind a desk because they tell you the knowledge that you have behind that desk is just too valuable. Right. And you're like, I want to be out there. I want to be mixing it up.
That's right.
I want to be in the field.
Knowledge in the field, baby.
Let me in the field. Let me back in there. They say, no. You're too valuable here. We need you in the home office.
Yeah. So Friede has not been bitten by a venomous snake, in 2 years. And he says, he says he really misses it.
Like that?
Yeah. He says he misses it. He says he misses it mostly in terms of, quote, just knowing where you can take your mind.
Hey, man, where you can take your mind is not to a valuable bed in the ICU. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, Tim, where you can take it is not to be a burden on our healthcare system. Well, but because you want to be bitten by a snake today, just to feel something.
Short-term burden, long-term benefit. This is actually a very big breakthrough. They're saying that, in mice, like I said, complete protection for 13 species. And these are
by the way, shout out once again to mice.
Yeah.
Hey, we gotta just every time we say it, I just gotta shout out to mice.
Mice getting
You don't want to be doing this, and we are forcing you, and you are dying, and this is not a painless thing for mice.
Oh no.
Oh no, the mice don't make it out of this one alive. even if the anti-venom works, the mice don't make it out alive because it's time to open up those mice and see what happened.
Yeah, that's true.
Shout out to the mice.
Shout out to mice doing that hard work for science. Just like,
hey, at least Tim Friede decided he wanted to do it.
Yeah.
The mice are just drafted.
The mice definitely do not want to do it.
Well, here's the thing. You lure the mice in with, hey, this is going to make you immune to snakes, the natural predator of the mouse.
That's right. Yeah. That's
because
that's how they get them.
That's how they get them. They're like, we're going to make you immune to mice, immune to snakes. And they're like, oh shit, snakes is always trying to swallow us whole.
That's right.
That's all snakes do is try. And sometimes if the snake doesn't want to swallow us whole, somebody will bonk us up against the snake's nose until it eats us anyway. So if I can be immune to snakes, this sounds great. And they're like, nya ha ha.
Yeah.
That's what the scientists say. They say, nya ha ha.
Yeah. How many snakes am I going to be immune to? I don't know, like 13. That's sweet.
Whoa.
That's sweet.
That's more than I've ever seen in my life. My world is so small.
That's awesome.
That's got to be more snakes than there are in the world.
What's it going to take? Well, you and all your friends are just going to have to get bit by snakes. Wait, what?
What? Oh no.
So
I would think, and I understand like now he's too valuable or whatever, but what I would say is like, wouldn't you want to load him up? Wouldn't you want to load old Timmy up? If you're like, hey, we don't have any vipers, Timmy. Like, what's going on? You've been slacking on vipers? Come down to the office today.
We got vipers.
I'm gonna let 5-6 vipers bite you. And we don't even have to take you to the ICU. We got people. They'll take care of you right here. That sounds like the best ending for everyone.
Tim Friede catnip, right? That's like somebody calling me and saying, we just got a box of crumble cookies.
Yeah, that's right.
It's the same exact thing.
Not sponsored.
No, they really should be, though. For the amount of times we've discussed them.
But that's what's crazy is like, wouldn't you want, I mean, I guess you want a stability so you can keep working with the blood so you don't have any new variables in the blood when you're making the thing, like if you were going to turn somebody into a spidered man, or if you were going to turn somebody into a human scorpion,
right,
or something like that, you would want their blood not to change. A human vampire, and their blood's constantly changing. Maybe it wouldn't work the next week. That's right. Maybe you've been developing the spider in your lab to give you superpowers, but it's not working. And for some reason, only the genetic code and the blood of one person can react to it. You're going to need as much of that blood as possible.
That's right.
So but then if that person starts putting on a mask, so you don't know who that person is. You see what I'm saying?
I do see what you're saying. It's a real Oscorp situation.
It's a real Alchemax Oscorp sort of thing going on. But but I understand wanting Tim to his blood to stay stable. But at the same time, couldn't you pull some blood and then get a little greedy? You know what I mean? Couldn't you pull some blood? Like have Tim give a pint at the office.
Yeah. Really stock up.
And then have him bitten by a few more different snakes.
It's like
one more another.
Just have your cake and bite it too.
Yeah. And then each week, sure, the blood is changing, but it's probably changing for the better to give you more snake.
Yeah. I feel like the unsaid part of this is that Glanville has seen Tim get bitten by a snake and just doesn't want that to happen anymore. Just but
it's unpleasant.
You got to stop. You got to stop.
Yeah, I'm literally watching a depressed man try to kill himself in the weirdest way possible. Just the weirdest way possible.
But they understand me.
I just want to go back to that for a moment if we can, Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
The weirdest way possible.
Yeah. It does seem wildly unpleasant and strange. I'm not going to argue there, but I do think the upshot is sometimes it takes a little outside the box thinking, let's put it that way, to get to a good result. You know what I'm saying?
I think the outside the box thinking was probably done by Glanville.
Yeah.
Who was like, we don't really do this, but I heard about this whacked dude. I heard about this absolutely whacked gentleman.
Yeah.
In the great state of Wisconsin. He's just sitting there, he's eating cheese curds and getting bit by black mambas.
Yeah.
Which can't be legal. Like, how does he get black mambas into Wisconsin? Do they come from Wisconsin?
That's a good question. That's a really good question. I don't know
where's the black mamba from? They must have a law against exotic pets like that in Wisconsin.
I'm gonna.
They have a law against spice on their food in Wisconsin. They can't allow exotic pets.
Snakes native to Wisconsin. 20 native snake species, including both venomous and non-venomous. Some of the most common are the garter, the fox, the water snake. Those aren't venomous.
Those are boring. Those are boring snakes.
Yeah.
We're all give me the hot snakes.
I don't see black mamba on here.
No, I feel like black mamba is not native to anywhere.
Yeah.
I feel like black mamba was made up by Rudyard Kipling and cartoons.
Anyways, the science behind this, because we are an award-winning science podcast, I think it is fascinating that they were literally able to take a molecule, an antibody from his blood, match it with one they already knew. There's this molecule that had already worked that they had. It's called Verispladib, which I think is the dude in Dune.
No, that's an eldritch horror.
Verispladib. I think isn't that the third moon of Arrakis?
That is.
So they match it with that, and then they go back to his blood. They find another molecule, and they put all this stuff together, and it all works. It's like you're covering more bases.
I mean, this is kind of how medical science works,
great.
Right? Like if some people are immune to things, some people aren't. You try to isolate what makes those people immune.
Right.
Find it and then synthesize something out of that. That's not just regular science. That's TV and movie science.
Yeah.
TV and movies are always about that.
Right.
There hasn't been a movie in the last like 50 years where somebody isn't like, wait, he's immune. We've got to isolate his blood. We can synthesize a cure.
That's right. Well, this is what they claim to be the first, or not the first, but the most successful synthetic antibody ever developed. This is the most broadly applicable. This is what
they claim to be the first useful snake man.
That's right. So they want to move into clinical trials. They need to test this on humans. I do not know how that's going to work. But
get them bit by snakes.
The step before this, Anthony. Step before that, what they're moving to next is they're going to test this on dogs.
No.
That have already been bitten in Australia. Just dogs wandering through the wilds of Australia.
That's every dog.
Yeah, every dog
in Australia.
That's the entire cast of Bluey.
That's everybody. Yeah, everyone in Bluey has been bitten by a venomous black mamba.
That's right.
Not just that, but everybody in Australia. If you go to Australia, the first thing they ask you is like, are you bringing in any foreign flora or fauna? Like, remember, you can't do that. We're a closed ecosystem. They're like, yeah, no, I'm not. And then the second thing they do is just let a fucking snake bite you.
You know how sometimes
they're just like, they stamp your passport and then they stamp you with snake fangs.
That's right. That's right.
And they say like a Warner Brothers cartoon. And they say, welcome to Australia.
Yeah. Hope you enjoy our poison.
Yeah. You have to be bitten. Otherwise, there's no point. They have a snake, a spider, and a bullet ant ready.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. And then an IV. And that's how you get into Australia. And once you're there, lovely people.
It's delightful.
Honestly, you haven't had a real flat white until you've had a flat white in Australia.
Have you had the Parmas? Oh, so good.
My God, they got these pot pies.
Woo.
Oh my God,
delicious.
They got hand pies over there,
and the poison.
You will have to be and the poison. You will have to be bitten by a number of venomous creatures.
Yeah, it's all of Australia wants to kill you.
Yeah.
But so the dogs, they're going to try to save some dogs that got bitten by venomous snakes in Australia as they try to, test this new cocktail and see how well it works, not just on mice, but on dogs. And then eventually to people. I don't know how we do is it just we have it on hand if someone happens to get bitten and then we just try it as a thing?
That's tricky, man, because I would love to know, because that feels to me like, what if it doesn't work?
Yeah, right.
How long do we wait before we give them
exactly
before we give them the real shit?
Yeah.
I feel like this would be probably introducing the venom in a controlled lab way for the humans.
Yeah.
For the dogs, I could see them just keeping stuff on hand and being like, well, that didn't work.
Yeah.
Because
that's the sticky wicket.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
So I don't want to leave out the capitalism of it all either.
No, of course, this is a savvy capitalist.
Glanville says he's hoping to get philanthropists and foundations to help pay for the clinical studies. And then he estimates
make all the profit himself.
He estimates there's a market of 600 million per year, but it's currently split across a few dozen antivenoms. A single antivenom would allow Centivax to own most of that market.
Fucking Lex Luthor ass, fucking Bezos ass, fucking Zaslav ass people making this shit. I listen, I'm putting that guy aside because obviously he's an evil capitalist. We knew that when he was coming in. But what I'm going to say is, what is Tim's new hobby?
Well, you want to know what his new title is?
Oof, lay it on me.
He's director of herpetology at Centivax.
Director?
Yep.
The suicidal man with the focus, with the fascination with snakes?
Director of herpetology.
Director? He doesn't have any background that you've told me.
I believe I have told you his background. He let 200 snakes bite him.
Right. And I understand that in the tech startup world, that's like, hey, he's got that street smarts. Does he have any education at all?
I mean, it doesn't go into that specifically.
Sure. Or at all.
Or
generally.
He says,
or broadly.
Tim says, I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe it. I know I'm doing something for humanity and giving back to science.
Director of her. That means there's nobody else in that department.
He's got his own office down the hall away from all the equipment.
Yeah, just all you have to do, Tim, is sit there and not get bit by snakes. And Tim's like, but all I want to do is get bit by snakes.
That's the hardest part. That's the hardest job.
I know, but listen.
You gave me the hardest job?
We're gonna give you this nice office and a title.
How many snakes are in it? How many snakes are in my office?
Listen, Tim. We're just gonna have a nice salary and benefits.
Sure.
All you have to do, don't fucking get bit by any more snakes. That's all you got to do.
Like on the weekend, but during the week I can, right?
No, you can't control me when I'm out of the office. I'm not on call 24/7.
Work-life balance, man.
Yeah, what I do with my free time, that's my business. If I need to get bit, I just want to get just one little bite, just to get me straight.
Get me through the day. Come on,
just
man.
to get me through the day.
I know you got snakes in that room. I know you have like a crate full of snakes in there.
Tim, you're a successful man. Don't throw it all away. Don't throw it all away.
Director of herpetology.
Director of herpetology. So
the fun thing is his next job.
Shut up. No, shut up. Because what is he doing now with his free time? That's what I want to know.
That I don't know. It does not go.
They don't say anything about it.
No.
They don't say, "Hey, man, what's it like to not be able to get bit by snakes anymore?" That's all that dude ever wanted to do. They didn't ask him. They weren't like, "Hey, man,
what do you
no
do
more
now?
snakes. How's that feel?"
2 years.
What are you doing?
I mean, he said it's really hard. He says, to know that you can beat where your mind goes and keep your calm and keep your cool. It's a wonderful thing.
Dude, learn to meditate.
Yeah.
Fucking see a therapist. Dudes will really get bitten by 200 snakes before they go to therapy.
Yeah. Anyway, good thing for the world, though. I think it will, if it can save lives, and it sounds like this might save lives and make this dude like $600 million.
Do you know what's going to suck for Tim?
What?
when they find an even crazier guy who's been bitten by 400 snakes and his blood's better.
That's the problem. Is you get
Do you know what I mean?
You get the snake race, as they call it.
They're not going to stop with 13 full, 6 partial. No, dude, they want all 6 hundo.
Yeah,
they're looking for the crazier man right now. If I know anything, and I do know everything because of Spider-Man comics, there is a second person being experimented on right now.
Yeah,
and that person is crazier and angrier and more of a loose cannon.
Somebody needs to,
and will be a dark mirror to Tim.
Somebody,
you know what I mean?
Somebody needs to check on Glanville's son. You know?
Yeah. What's going on with Glanville's son? How's their relationship? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does he have to go off to Europe for a couple years? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. He and Friede are best friends, but you know, they went to school together.
He really gets along with his mother better, but you know, ever since she died. Yeah. Why does everything turn into a Spider-Man situation? It's only with stupid people that it turns into a Spider-Man situation.
You mean us?
Yeah, us.
Stupid people.
I can take anything to Spider-Man, and
we learned everything from Spider-Man comics. That's the problem.
That's right. I can take anything from 0 to Spider-Man in about 15 minutes.
Yeah,
if you give me the time.
That's your talent. I just worry that Tim's next job, when he's got director of herpetology at Centevax on his resume, and they're gonna be like, wow, the qualifications for this guy.
Dude, he's going to be at the CDC. He's going to be reporting to RFK soon.
Yeah.
He's going to be like, "Oh, this guy understands.
Let's get RFK.
This guy understands.
Let's get RFK some snake bites. How about that? Can we do that?
Hey, homeopathy. It works apparently. That's what RFK is going to take away from this. What you need is a little bit of snake venom every day until you get stronger and stronger.
Yeah.
Eat a raw deer, leave the rest of it in the fucking park.
That is the other thing in this story that is woefully lacking. Is it says?
Oh, that's the one thing. Okay.
It says, he was in a coma for 4 days. Then it says Friede recovered and with time became more careful. What is more? What do you do to get better at being bit by a snake? It doesn't.
I mean, that's the sort of thing that there's not really a class to teach you that. There's only one man who can tell you, and that's the director of herpetology. At Centevax. And here's what I'm going to tell you, man. That's the kind of experience that just cannot be replaced. How does he get more careful? I don't know. True. Like, maybe he doesn't let the snake bite him so many times he goes into a coma. I don't know. Maybe he lets the snake bite him once and he throws it back into the plastic tub. I don't know.
Stop short of coma. Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? Next time
he's got little field notes. He's got a little pocket notebook. And he takes that as the snake is biting him. I'm picturing once again a Warner Brothers situation where the snake is attached to his nose. You know, the venomous snake is attached to his nose.
And he's talking like this.
Flopping as he moves his head left and right.
Yeah. But he's staying perfectly still, and the snake is flopping. And
he's talking like this, and he pulls his little notebook out of his pocket.
And he goes, day 37. Only let the snake bite you once. And then he falls over. He stiffens up and he falls over like a board, and he makes that sound like a door opening, like a creaky door.
The last time you wrote in here was day 33. How did you miss 4 days? Oh, those were coma days.
Yeah, those are coma days. I don't keep notes, but I do count them for science.
I think this guy's a badass, Anthony. I think he's a badass.
Not a badass. Not a badass. A weird person who needs help, who got it in completely the wrong way.
I mean,
not a badass.
Potato.
No, that's what I keep trying to explain to you. It's not potato. It's not. There's a difference. A badass is somebody who's legitimately cool, who's doing tough, cool things, rugged things that are amazing. This is a man who is so wildly lonely and deluded that he lets snakes bite him to feel something.
I mean, you're not wrong.
No, I'm not wrong.
But
You don't
all
pass.
the good he's
Not a
gonna do.
badass.
Think of the
No,
good.
it's not. It's not. Number one, he's not the one doing it.
It wouldn't be
the
done
reason that
without him.
This reeks of PR, not NPR. This reeks of PR. This reeks of somebody from Centavax getting in touch with NPR and being like, here's the story of an amazing man. And our CEO happens to be there too. And if you want to talk about him, he's also pretty cool.
It's also
Is
available.
he as amazing as this other guy? I don't know. Some people think even more amazing, but that's for you to decide. That's for you to decide. Not me. I couldn't tell you that I think he's the greatest.
And
so
also
it's
our
like,
CEO's
look at all the
keeping
good.
him alive, forcing him to stop this whole nonsense. Maybe you're right.
Sure.
Maybe it's PR.
It feels a little bit like PR. It is an interesting story, but I think the fact that Tim is centered in it definitely reeks of PR from Centavax to me.
I mean, the next time that you're traipsing through Australia, you're going to be glad that Friede did all this hard work, you know?
Dude, I still want to touch that plant that makes you feel unbearable pain.
That is, and you're going to criticize this guy?
I know. Here's the thing. I want to do it. I want to do it in the way, Jeff, that like, okay, have I imagined being bitten by a snake? Yes. Have I imagined touching the plant that gives you the unbearable pain? Yes. Have I stood on a subway platform and been like, what happens if I touch the third rail? What happens if I jump? On the top of a tall building, what happens if I jump? What would it feel like? Of course I have intrusive thoughts. We all have intrusive thoughts. The difference is recognizing that they're intrusive thoughts and not turning them into a hobby.
Or a job, as this guy did. I don't see you being the director of plantology.
You know what? Do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life, they say.
That's right. Well,
except he's not doing what he loves.
No.
Because he's not allowed to be bitten by snakes anymore.
I want to know.
This is also, in a way, if you look at it, Jeff, another heartbreaking story of capitalism robbing somebody of joy.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Be careful of...
He had one simple joy.
Be careful of monetizing your hobbies, you know?
Yeah. He liked one thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He enjoyed one thing.
Can't do it anymore.
And then they were like, we can make you money off that thing. Whoops. It was a trap. Whoops. Golden fiddle if you can beat this guy at the crossroads. Uh-oh. No one's ever beaten him. Uh-oh. He's the devil.
Yeah.
Did you see that one coming, Jeff?
I did not. I did not see that coming.
Nobody
does.
You
were talking about a guy standing on a crossroads. I was just imagining a guy in overalls.
Yeah. And maybe it was like the crossroads, like 2 train platforms, and you were thinking, what if he jumps on the third rail?
Yeah. I often have intrusive
I don't
thoughts.
know. Intrusive thoughts. We can, you know what? We can, as always, let the concerned citizens weigh in on this. If you think this guy is a badass, you can certainly let us know.
Yeah. We need
great place to do that. Discord, best place to do it. If you want to be on the Discord, all you got to do is head to patreon.com/wehaveconcerns, support the show for $1 a month, jump on the Discord, talk to everybody about things. What kind of things? Whatever the fuck you want, man. We're not your parents.
Dude, it's your Discord. You're going to be paying for it. Hey, and if you got a little extra scratch, you got more than $1 to make sure the show continues, to support a show that give you maybe a chuckle and something to think about. You get more stuff for your dollars. You can get extra episodes. You can get bonus audio, bonus video. Check it out at patreon.com/wehaveconcerns.